What is up, guys? Happy Wednesday evening. Hope you guys are all having a lovely day. We're going to get into it here for about a half an hour or so. We're going to go over the player news from the day. I'll answer, questions in the chat. I see Jerry in here. Good evening to you, my guy. We'll answer questions shortly. So if you guys do have questions, if you're just joining the stream, get the questions in there. And I'm just going to read the player news, practice news from today, and then we'll get into the questions, and then we'll look at some start-sit charts. I'm just using underdog here. Torrey Horton. 2 weeks ago, he had an awesome game. I believe it was Sunday Night Football. I can't remember exactly what the game was, but he's limited today. He missed last week. It'd be nice to get him back for Sam Darnold. Parker Washington, this one's curious. He did not practice today after scoring 2 touchdowns on Sunday. We did get news that Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange were both limited today. So good news for, I guess, the Jaguars. They're getting at least Brian Thomas and maybe Brenton Strange back this weekend. We'll see about Parker Washington. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully he can get a practice in tomorrow. Again, Wednesday practices, not the biggest day to miss, but good news for BTJ and Brenton Strange. Oronde Gadsden, more good news here. He had the knee scare. He had the MRI on Monday. It came back fine. He just had a bruise. He fully practices today, so he's totally on track to play in week 11 against the Jags. Cardinals running back Bam Zonovan Knight limited today. We're probably going to see Bam Knight and Amari DiMercado take the workload this weekend. Let me see what else we got here. Marvin Mims looks like he's on track to be back. The Broncos have been missing him for a little bit. Pat Surtain still not practicing with that pec injury. We got RJ Harvey potential this week here with J.K. Dobbins and the foot injury. They're saying this is probably a multi-week injury for J.K. Dobbins. They're actually contemplating putting him on IR. So we'll get that answer by the end of the week. If he does not look like he's going to be playing anytime soon, it makes sense to put him on IR, let him heal up for a month, and let's see what the rookie can do. It's going to be RJ Harvey, a little bit of Tyler Beatty. Maybe we see some Jaleel McLaughlin. I think it's still going to be probably 2 or 3 backs in the mix, but you got to think Harvey's the guy to get the double-digit touches against the Chiefs. We'll watch for this one, but Dalton Schultz does not practice with a shoulder. It could just be a rest day. He had a huge workload last weekend. And then CJ Stroud not practicing today a week after resting from the concussion. That's not good news. I had to move him down in my rankings this afternoon to doubtful. We might get another Davis Mills start on Sunday as they travel to Tennessee. Matthew Golden limited for the Packers. There's the J.K. Dobbins not practicing. Good news for Devontae Adams, who is expected to play. He grabbed his back last Sunday, but they're saying it's an oblique issue, which maybe, rib cage side of the, side, that kind of thing. That could be the issue for Devontae, but it sounds like it's going to be fine. No Rashad Bateman or Justice Hill today. We'll watch for those guys tomorrow. A couple more DNPs. Isaiah Pacheco not practicing, even though they said he has a chance to play this week. Big day tomorrow for him. And then a big day tomorrow for Sam Laporta. Hopefully he was just out taking a break today, but the back injury for Laporta misses practice today. Tomorrow night's game, Patriots and the Jets. Not super excited about tomorrow night's game, but Ramondre Stevenson and Kayshon Boutte have been ruled out. Terrell Jennings would be the next man up behind TreVeyon Henderson. He's listed as questionable. He actually started. He actually started last week, played 5 snaps, and then he got hurt. So I'm not sure what the pecking order will be if he does play. I'm assuming it's TreVeyon Henderson as the starter, but just keep in mind, Jennings actually started last week. We got some positive reports here on Brock Purdy. They're going to have an aggressive practice with the goal of starting in week 11. So good news there. He was limited today. Ricky Pearsall, though, back practicing today. It's been like almost 2 months since we've seen Ricky Pearsall. It feels like that would be a huge boost to their offense if they not only get Brock Purdy back, but also Ricky Pearsall. And hey, shout out to Jameis Winston, who was named starter for the New York Giants today. That's pretty cool. Chris Godwin limited. That puts him on track to maybe playing this weekend or next weekend. I still don't know if he's going to be a valuable piece for redraft leagues. I'm probably moving on from Chris Godwin. He's just not healthy, man. He needs almost a full off season to get back right, and maybe he can play healthy next year. But good to see him practicing. Also, Bucky Irving limited today. So he's got the foot and the shoulder. It seems like the shoulder's the bigger concern now. And the fact that he's limited today puts him on track to maybe play in week 11. So huge day tomorrow for him. Darius Slayton not practicing with that hamstring injury. That's a big one to watch tomorrow as well. It sounds like Lamar Jackson's going to be fine. He didn't practice today with knee soreness. They said he's going to be okay, expected to practice and play tomorrow. Romeo Dobbs, he left, I think it was like the late third or maybe early fourth quarter. He left with a chest injury. They're saying he's good to go, so no concerns there. Let's see what else we can find for you guys. Calvin Ridley practicing. Good to see. Him and Calvin Ridley both have not played for at least 5 to 6 games. But good news there. Ollie Gordon limited today. Josh Palmer for the Bills fully practicing. No Dalton Kincaid, though. We are expecting Kincaid to miss at least 1 or 2 games, if not 3 games. So I think Dawson Knox is a sneaky tight end add if you need the tight end help there. Khalil Shakir limited. It sounds like he's going to be fine. This one was a bit of a surprise just because the appendix basically for Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not going to play this week. I mean, if I had my appendix taken out on a Wednesday or Tuesday, like I'm probably not playing that first Sunday back. He might even be out another week here. So I think this is a 1 to 2 week timeline for Marvin Harrison Jr. The Cardinals don't have much going for them right now. They could be very cautious with their star player. Trey McBride is going to get hammered with targets this weekend. See if we can find anything else for you guys. Good report here on Chris Rodriguez. He will play. Not concerned about the shoulder. There's the Jameis Winston starting. And then I believe we're into Wednesday. So that is the full amount of practice reports that I have for you guys. I'm just going to pull up my start-sit charts and we'll start taking some questions. So again, good evening to Jerry coming in hot with a full PPR question. Tez, Michael Wilson, or Ricky Pearsall? I'm probably not going to throw out Ricky Pearsall in his first game back. You also have to worry about workloads and things like that. It's also Brock Purdy's first game back. So maybe we pump the brakes on Ricky Pearsall. I think the fact that you have Tez Johnson and Michael Wilson, both healthy guys, that Tez has been playing great. I trust Tez Johnson more than I trust Michael Wilson. We've never really seen Michael Wilson take full advantage of his opportunity. Like he's always been kind of the clear number 2 for the Cardinals in the last couple of seasons, but he's just never had consistency. And even with Marvin Harrison out, I think I'm going to probably go with Tez Johnson here. Let's look at the matchup real quick for the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buffalo is middle of the road. They allow about 30 fantasy points per game, but I'm expecting Tez Johnson to get 4, 5, 6 targets in this one. He's catching touchdowns. I think Michael Wilson could be in for a good spot too. The 49ers do allow a little bit more wide receiver points. But I think the safer play, and honestly, like we just saw Tez Johnson catch 2 touchdowns. I think it's Tez Johnson for me. Ooh, J-Mo or Harvey? I mean, Jameson Williams is starting to put it together. The Eagles, they do rank 14th here in opponent wide receiver points allowed for Jameson Williams. It's in Philadelphia as well. Not quite sure if that means anything, but we're getting an opportunity for RJ Harvey. Kansas City Chiefs, they are one of the better teams against the opponent running back, but I think if you want to play it safe, you go with Harvey. If you want to go for the ceiling, I think you go with Jameson Williams because he's been catching big plays. And we could get a nice opportunity there on Sunday Night Football. So I'm gonna probably lean Jameson Williams here. I do not trust Sean Payton, man. Every time he gets an opportunity to do something with his running backs, he's always using multiple guys. He's got this weird thing for Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Beatty. I want to pump the brakes on Harvey. I think I'm going to go with Jameson Williams. Good evening to Harris. Kamani Vidal or Tet McMillan? I think I'm going to go with Kamani Vidal in this one. Vidal is going to get the Jacksonville Jags. They do rank 10th here in total running back points allowed, but Vidal's just been so good, and they've been really running the ball well with him despite their offensive line injury. So I'm leaning Vidal here. McMillan doesn't really have quite a ceiling. He's in between those 8 to 12 PPR points per game. He's got a tough matchup against Atlanta. Don't have a ton of confidence in Carolina's offense right now. I think it's Vidal for me pretty easily. So I'm operating as CJ Stroud's probably not playing this week. I think Brock Purdy still has a little bit of stuff to show us before I trust it. I'm kind of thinking Jacoby Brissett, but I think I'm going to go Brock Purdy here for you in this one. If CJ Stroud does play, I'll play CJ Stroud, but I'm going to go with Brock Purdy here. And good evening to Double Tap, my guy. Hope you're doing well. And Jason as well. Good evening, guys. Tez, Monty, or Manungai? I think Manungai has been playing well, but DeAndre Swift has also been playing really, really well. I don't think I see Swift going away anytime soon. The matchup here for the Bears Vikings, this one is in Minnesota as well. They only give up about 20 fantasy points per game to the running back spot. So I don't know if I see a ceiling spot here. I think I'd rather look at David Montgomery or Tez Johnson. And with David Montgomery, we know he's going to get 8 to 10 touches, 8 to 12 touches, something like that, going up against Philadelphia. And I know Philadelphia's been up and down in pretty much every facet of the game this season. They look really good on Monday Night Football. I know the Packers offense is struggling, but this Eagles defense did look pretty good. And I wonder a more competitive game if that means more Jahmyr Gibbs for us here. So I think I'm going with Tez Johnson again, man. He's been pretty safe and steady lately. Let's take a look at Tez Johnson and his numbers. Alrighty, so Tez Johnson's last handful of games here, he basically started playing a lot in week 5. 4 targets, 3, 9, 6, 5, but his catches are 4, 5, 4, 1, 4. In between 40 and 60 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns in this time span. I think I'm attaching myself to Tez Johnson in this one. You know, even if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's shown the ability to get you 9 to 10 points as a floor. I'm liking Tez. That's one of my biggest things as well, is Thursday Night Football is usually a lesser football product. The game is not good because we don't have enough time for these coaches and these players to, one, heal up properly and to really get into a good game plan. So everything's rushed on Thursday Night Football, which I think leads to lower scores just across the board, lower fantasy numbers. Your studs you're still going to play, but guys like Justin Fields, who's like a flexy, super flex option. Other guys in that game would probably include, I don't know, like Demario Douglas, Hunter Henry, like just those guys that aren't must-start players. I usually tend to avoid those guys. So we have Bo Nix and Jay Fields as my QBs for Superflex League, thinking of sitting Fields and possibly playing Tez Johnson in the Superflex spots. We haven't gotten a lot of good stuff coming out of New York lately. The defense has been decimated with trades, and now we have Garrett Wilson's out for this offense. They just traded for AD Mitchell, which I do like, but this offense really doesn't have anything around it outside of Fields and Breece Hall. I like Mason Taylor a little bit, but Fields has been struggling. 7, 17, 4, 5. It's been a while since we've had these big boom games. So I get it, man. If you think you want to play it safe, I do like Tez Johnson for 8 to 12 points, whether he's getting 4 for 40, 4 for 50, and a touchdown, something like that. I do think he has a nice range of outcomes. Also, if you have a soft matchup this week where you just want to make sure you get those 10, 12 points, I think I'm fine with that. But usually I want to play a quarterback if I can play a quarterback. Just we don't have a lot of he's had a couple games here where he hasn't even thrown for 60 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know he's been hurting whatever in some of these games and benched, but this offense, man, is just it's blinking red. There's smoke coming out from under the hood. Maybe we play it safe and go Tez Johnson here. And good evening here. We got Ricky Pearsall, BTJ McMillan, and Christian Watson. I think if I'm probably going to pump the brakes on Ricky Pearsall this week. I would imagine Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, those guys are still going to be involved as number 2 and number 3, number 4 receivers. So I don't expect Pearsall to just come out and get 80% of the snaps in his first game back with his knee injury that he's been sitting out for. So I'm going to cross Pearsall off the list. I am interested a little bit in Christian Watson just because he's a big play guy and he's been making big plays. We did have a little injury to Romeo Doubs as well. It helps with Tucker Kraft missing some time here. Let me see if I can find Christian Watson's numbers. It's probably going to be on page number 2 here. Where's my guy? There's my guy. All right. So Christian Watson, since he's returned, 2 for 45, 2 for 58, 4 for 85. So we know we're getting like a big play guy. Has not scored a touchdown yet. So that could be kind of fun. He's got a 20 plus yard per catch average right now. I just, these 6 and 7 point floors concern me a little bit. I think Tet McMillan, if you want to play it the safest, you're going to play Tet McMillan. If you want to play it somewhat safe and then hope for the best boom, I still think it's Brian Thomas Jr. if he plays with that ankle injury. So McMillan, has not been playing all that well. The Panthers and Bryce Young have not been playing all that well, but McMillan's been 11, 8, 17, 6, 18. Like he's been fine. I think I can throw this out and say, hey, if I get 8 points, I get 8 points. Hasn't caught a lot of touchdowns though. He's not getting hyper targeted as much as we would like. So I think if I'm ranking these guys, I'm going to go BTJ, Tet McMillan, Watson, Pearsall. And half PPR. Oh no, Pollard, Parker, Franklin. Do you think Mitchell is number 1 receiver and overall 3? I'm not going to play AD Mitchell on a short week without seeing him play in this offense. This offense can't throw the ball right now. I do think Mitchell's a nice hold for the rest of the season, but we cannot whip out AD Mitchell tomorrow night. Even if he does catch, 3 for 60 and a touchdown, like that's good news for the future. I'm not going to take that risk because we haven't even seen him play a snap for this team yet. So who knows what the pecking order is and what his route participation is. So I like Mitchell, but I'm not starting him this week. So it's Pollard, Parker, or Franklin. I do think Parker Washington, I'm not playing Tony Pollard here. I'm totally looking at a receiver, whether it's Parker or Franklin. I think I'm going to go with Troy Franklin here, man. I mean, Franklin's been really steady. Especially he's been coming on strong the last few games here. He's wide receiver 25 on the year, 15, 6, 26, 10. I know there's some weird numbers in here, but 9, 10, 8, and 10 targets in his last 4 games. I think I'm going to continue to take that. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games as well. I think I'm going to keep sticking with Troy Franklin here in a game where I expect the Broncos to have to, throw the ball and play keep up and that kind of thing. As much as I like Parker Washington, who I think is pretty cool, and we might have Brian Thomas Jr., we might have Brenton Strange back. There's a couple moving pieces. We might get more Jacoby Myers. I think I'm going with Troy Franklin, who is technically the Broncos' leading receiver right now with targets. So I'm not quite there with Colston Loveland yet. I do think he's starting to perk up, but if Dalton Schultz plays, I'm going to go with Dalton Schultz. We might also get Davis Mills back this week, which I think is a boost for Nico. It's a boost for Dalton Schultz as well, as he's going to hyper target those guys. So I'm leaning Schultz here. I'm open to Loveland, but as long as Cole Kmet's healthy and out there, like he's going to continue to get snaps, routes, and steal some touches. We have to drop one. Spears, Tracy, or Monungai. I mean, none of these guys are must-start players, so you have that going for you. Man, that's tough. I don't really want to cut any of these guys. The answer is probably Tyjae Spears, just because there's really no juice in that offense right now. And Tajae's splitting time with Tony Pollard. He had 1 game with a touchdown. He's been 7 to 9 points, which is fine. It's just he's kind of just like an emergency RB2. I don't have a ton of confidence in him. Sure, he could get more work as the year goes on. You have Tyrone Tracy here, who's back to being the lead back for the Giants. 8, 6, 7, 10. I mean, I think I'd rather play Tyrone Tracy on a weekly basis compared to Tyjae Spears. And then Monungai I view as a guy that I definitely want to hold because we saw him go nuts in 1 game. He scores touchdowns. He's a good all-around player. I think he's the most talented player of the 3. I'm going to probably dump Tyjae Spears here. And good evening to Alex. I think I answered this question the other night, but we're rocking Drake May, Henderson, Judkins, JSN, Jefferson, McBride, who's going to go nuts, Egbuka. We got Woody, Bucky, Harvey, Wandale, Love and Pierce and Tua. Any changes? 10-man PPR. I think you're going to let it rock, man. Ramondre has been ruled out, so wheels up for Henderson. I'm going to stick with Judkins. I do like RJ Harvey, but again, I got to advise a little bit of caution just because we don't know. I don't trust Sean Payton. He has not trusted RJ Harvey to get a ton of workload. He's been giving it all to J.K. Dobbins, and he's been mixing in these other backs. I want to believe in Harvey this week, but I'm going to advise just a little bit caution. I still have Harvey ranked as like a top 24 back this week, but I have Henderson, I believe, up to RB 14. So I'm going to stick with what you got here. That's a pretty strong team, 10-man league. Harris is saying Tez, Tucker, Slayton, half PPR. I really like the Trey Tucker matchup this weekend. I don't have a ton of confidence in the Raiders offense, let alone Geno Smith, who was hurt and dinged up pretty bad last week. He does concern me. What I do like about Trey Tucker, though, is he's a big play guy. When he hits big. He did have a touchdown called back last week. It was about a 30-yard touchdown, so he could have had a nice day. We'd probably be feeling pretty good about him. I think he's fine, but I'm probably going to lean with Tez Johnson here. We're talking Buffalo, Tampa Bay. That could be a pretty high-scoring game. Baker Mayfield. I want to attach myself to Baker Mayfield. I don't know if I want to attach myself to Geno Smith. I know Jameis Winston is there as well, but Darius Slayton did pull up with a hamstring today. He missed practice. I think I'm going Tez Johnson here. If I'm ranking these guys, I'm probably going to go Tez, Tucker, Slayton. I'll have to double check my rankings and see if that's where I'm at. But start two, you also have Davis Mills. If we're starting two here, I think I'm probably going to go with Tez and Tucker. I'm sticking with Brian Thomas Jr. here. If you're nervous about Brian Thomas Jr., I'm fine with Tez Johnson, but I will have Brian Thomas Jr. ranked a little bit higher for me. And good evening to Andrew. He's asking Tua or Gabriel in a super flex. Oh, man. Andrew's going to yell at me if I get this wrong. Alrighty, so Cleveland Browns, they're getting Baltimore. Baltimore, on paper, they allow 18.93 points per game. They're getting healthier, though. Like, this team is playing better. They're on a nice little win streak. It's in Cleveland, but I don't really know if I want to mess with that. That's a tough spot here. Whereas Tua, he's going to get the Miami Dolphins at home, or he's going to get the Washington Commanders at home. I'm going to lean with the numbers here. The Commanders have allowed 22 passing touchdowns, 21 fantasy points per game. You're getting the better matchup. You're getting it at Miami as well. They just beat Buffalo, showing some nice things. I'm going to lean Tua here. I'm going to pump the brakes on the Cleveland Browns against the Ravens here this weekend. And good evening to Gullies. We got the number one team. We're starting Hurts, Achane, Chase Brown, Devontae, Sutton, K. Dotton, tough spot at flex, DeMarcado, Worthy, Hunt, Tez, Sean Tuck, DJ Moore. Okay. I'm probably not going to go with Sean Tucker. I don't really want to go with Emari DeMarcado. I'm looking at Worthy, Hunt, and Tez. DJ Moore concerns me a little bit just because his floor has been pretty bad. You know, he's had a nice game or two lately, but he's also had some really bad games. So I'm going to avoid DJ Moore. We have not seen Xavier Worthy hit in a while. So I'm thinking, like, if I had to start a Chief and Isaiah Pacheco's not playing, I'm going to play probably Kareem Hunt. Let me pull up X Worthy here. He's probably not even on this first page. So Worthy's last few games, 6, 10, 7, 10, 11, 17, he just really hasn't shown that high-end gear, especially with Rashee Rice back. If Isaiah Pacheco is out, I'm going to play Kareem Hunt. Otherwise, I think Tez Johnson. I think that's been the guy of the night, Tez Johnson. Everyone's asking questions on Tez Johnson. I'm going to feel like an idiot if this guy only gets 3 points. But I think he's your best bet. Basically, you hope Tez Johnson and K. Dotton combine for about 25, 30 points and call it good. McMillan, Tucker, and Watson. I'm going to go McMillan. Ooh. Give me McMillan, Tucker, Watson in that order. McMillan would be the starter. You also have Mark Andrews. I'm probably playing Mark Andrews here. over K. Dotton. I know K. Dotton had a huge game last week. I don't really know if I trust K. Dotton. The matchup against the Bills, though, Bills number one team against tight end. Let me remove your comment here, Gullies. Buffalo's the number one team against tight end, under 6 fantasy points per game. I'm probably playing Mark Andrews, who's been catching touchdowns lately. Against the Cleveland Browns, that just seems like a Mark Andrews type of game to me. We're dropping. Oh, now we're dropping another guy here. I mean, I guess I'll drop Trey Tucker. We'll keep Watson. We can drop Trey Tucker. Yeah, I don't know what the question is here, Harris. You start 2. You said you also have Davis Mills. Oh, here. Start 2. I don't think Stroud's gonna play. I'm gonna go Brock Purdy and Davis Mills as your 2 there, Harris. I think you keep starting Jordan Love. The Cowboys are coming off a bye, so they're going to be fresh. They also just traded for Quinnen Williams, who I think might play. They also traded for a linebacker. I think there's going to be a lot of buzz on that side of the ball. The Raiders just can't protect Geno Smith right now. So to me, it's coming up Cowboys. I'm going to play Jordan Love over Geno Smith. If you've seen, look at some of those Geno Smith numbers, man. Some of those games are really bad scores. I think Jordan Love has a higher floor than Geno Smith, despite playing the Cowboys. So I'm going to stick with my guy. Oh, my bad. Well, it's a home game. My bad. It's in Madrid. I totally forgot. But give me Miami to beat the Commanders. So I'm not super into starting K. Dotton. To me, he's not really a difference maker at the tight end position. He has these random spike weeks, and they're very hard to catch. You can see 17, 8, 13. So he's starting to play better. So I don't hate this. He doesn't catch touchdowns, which is a bit of a bummer. I'm fine with starting both of these guys. But again, if your expectation is I want 25 to 30 points from these 2 guys, Cade and Tez, I think that's fine. I'm kind of a notorious Courtland Sutton hater. I don't hate Courtland Sutton. I don't think he's all that good. He's a good boundary receiver, but he's not a consistent receiver. And he's been struggling these last few games. 5, 10, 10, 14, 2. He's catching a touchdown here to save that game. Otherwise, we'd be probably really concerned about Courtland Sutton here. So I don't love this matchup for him. The Kansas City Chiefs are pretty solid on defense. If we pull up the numbers here, the Chiefs, they rank number 3 here, just on next to the arrow here. They rank number 3 against opponent wide receivers. So I don't love Courtland Sutton this week. He's probably going to be a wide receiver 3 for me. Worthy or Monangai rest of season, you're probably going to go with Worthy here. He's just attached to Mahomes. I want to keep a piece of that. Monangai remains a high-end priority handcuff, but he's not a must-start player every week until DeAndre Swift misses time. Whereas Worthy, I'm comfortable leaving Worthy out in my lineup every week just to make sure I get those big plays. And man, what a night for Tez Johnson. Wow. He is the hot guy, and which makes me nervous now because usually the hot guy of the week is the guy that we don't want to play. But it's showing up Tez Johnson tonight, man. Let me look at my rankings real quick just to make sure I'm not talking crazy talk here because my gut is saying Tez Johnson here. All right, I got Sutton at wide receiver 23. Tez Johnson, wide receiver 35. So I'm going to stick with Courtland Sutton. It's a big game. We'll stick with Sutton. Man, I don't want to be responsible for these decisions. I do like the K. Dotton numbers that we've been seeing the last few games, but we're going to test the number 1 defense against tight end that's only allowing under 6 points per game. I think that's a tough ask. For me, I'm probably like I have Mark Andrews ranked higher at tight end, and then I'm going to stick with Cortland Sutton here. So Sutton and Mark would be my answers here. Man, this is a lot of what ifs. So answering start sit questions is one of my least favorite things to do when I do this. It's really tough. Like I want to present the facts and the numbers and show you what I think is the best way to answer questions. This is a really tough matchup for Cade Otton. The numbers are not in his favor. Let's pull up the numbers here and look at the fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. Again, the Bills number one against tight ends. This is who they have played, and this is what they have scored. They've allowed one tight end to go over double-digit points. That was Travis Kelce, 4 for 66. Jeremy Ruckert, whatever. Hunter Henry held in check. Juwan Johnson held in check. Jatavian Sanders, Kyle Pitts. The Dolphins were held in check. There's another Mark Andrews was held in check. Mason Taylor was held in check. So not a great list of tight ends on this list, but like guys like Kelce, Henry, Juwan, Pitts, Andrews, even Taylor, like those are guys that we have started here before. So I'm not super in love with Cade Otton this weekend. That's why I'm going to lean Mark Andrews. And I think I'm going to continue to lean with Cortland Sutton. Just he's a proven guy. It's at home. It's a big game. I think he makes big plays in big games. A lot of concerns about Geno Smith. I think he's going to play this weekend. He did have bruises, basically, is what they said, but he's just not been a good quarterback. We've had 1 or 2 games where he's really popped, but for the most part here, you're kind of playing with fire. Let me get the right numbers up here. We're playing with a little bit of fire with Geno Smith. You can see only 2 really good weeks, 1 usable week here, week 1. I just don't have a lot of faith in Geno Smith right now. And a lot of it is the offensive line. It's the playmakers around Brock Bowers and Genty. Not a lot there. I don't have a ton of trust in the Raiders offense. And good evening to Julian. I hope you guys are all enjoying your Wednesday evening. We will be going live tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to try and get the player news, and we can look at the game. Not a super exciting game tomorrow night. We're going to get through it, though, the Patriots and the Jets. Health concerns for Geno. It sounds like he's going to be fine. So because they play on Monday night, we don't get a Wednesday report on a guy like Geno Smith. We're going to get that report tomorrow. Everything that I've seen, though, seems like he's going to be fine, and he's going to practice hopefully tomorrow in limited capacity. He's had an extra few days to heal, so I don't have a ton of concerns on Geno's health. Just the state of the Raiders would be the concern. So there you have it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Wednesday. I appreciate you guys so much. Tomorrow night, again, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Thank you. Like the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Check out the website, thefantasyfellowship.com. And we'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Peace.